Hello and welcome to the Ultimate Enduro Talk. Look at this for the backdrop. It is the Iron Giant presiding over the Erzberg Rodeo, the biggest four-day enduro festival in the world. Tomorrow is the finale. It's the Red Bull Hare Scramble. So if the old phrase that gossip today is tomorrow's headlines, we decided to pull together the great and the good of enduro to ask them what they think is going to go down tomorrow. Over there at the end, we've got a man who strikes fear into the heart of factory racers when he lines up on the start. Probably the most successful privateer enduro has ever seen, Paul Bolton. Nasty mischief you've done yourself there, Paul.
Yeah, I've got myself a nasty ingrowing toenail, so obviously the knee brace is something extra.
Come on, what have you actually done?
No, I've actually blown my knee out completely, so I've done the meniscus and the ACL, so I've actually got the ACL reconstruction on Tuesday, so ready to go.
Okay, yeah, you look quite excited about that. I don't know if I would be. Next to Paul, we've got Cyril Desprez, 5-time Dakar winner, 2-time Erzberg winner. Cyril, which is harder? You're one of the few men who can answer that question.
Yeah, maybe the only one, but it's a different hard race. You can maybe compare Dakar like a marathon of 42-kilometer running, and this one is more like a 110-meter hurdle in the Olympic Games. It's about pushing yourself, going a sprint of 1.5 to 2 hours. Both races are hard and make me happy always to come and to have this big mountain on my background. It's a really nice place.
I think you're secretly happy you're not riding tomorrow, though.
I can tell you, definitely. That's why I smile.
The woman next to you is smiling, though. Laia Sanz, 13-time World Trials Champion, 5-time World Enduro Champion. Laia, you've made good on your promise to come back. You did the prologue last year. This year you're back and you're going to race. How nervous are you?
I'm nervous because now I feel like a rookie. It's a nice feeling. I'm nervous but excited at the same time. I can't wait to start tomorrow the race.
Okay, we're going to go into that in more depth in a little bit. But this year is a very special year. Erzberg is celebrating its 25th anniversary. And the man sat next to me here won the first ever Erzberg Rodeo, Alfie Cox. You know better than anyone how much this race has changed over the years.
No, I think if you see the size of the race now, the amount of people that are here, I mean, it's just mind-blowing, the organization. But I still think in my day it was more difficult.
Social media is going to light up with that one. If you want to bait Alfie, then you can use the hashtags Red Bull Hare Scramble or Erzberg Rodeo. I've got the tablet here. I'll be answering any questions or posing them to whoever you fancy asking. Right now, though, Erzberg has become a part of the West Series, the World Enduro Super Series. It's now in its second year, and Erzberg is the third event of the series. So we're going to take a look back now and see what's happened in the season so far.
The first stop of the 2019 World Enduro Super Series saw plenty of action. Toyota Porto Extreme XL Lagares started off with the evening's Enduro Cross, where Johnny Walker took the top spot at the first test of the season. At the Porto Prologue, Walker took a dive, while Alfredo Gomez blasted through the city with the fastest time. The Day 3 Hard Enduro did not disappoint. Manuel Lettenbichler was in the lead for much of the race, until Mario Roman blew past Sherco teammate Wade Young and the German KTM rider to take the Round 1 title. Stop number 2 took the West Circus to France for the first classic enduro of the season, Le Trèfle Lozérien AMV. Joseph Garcia was moving with lightning-quick precision all race. With a 30-second lead, he makes his final charge in Special Test 5 on the final day. KTM's Spanish Speedster became the first ever non-French winner of Le Trèfle Lozérien AMV. UK rider Jamie McKinney has also wowed the crowd, taking second place on the podium. France saw a close battle for third between local hero Gautier and Watson, who took the last spot on the podium by just 1.4 seconds. Going into the biggest hard enduro event of the year, this is how things stand in the World Enduro Super Series.
So Josep Garcia currently in the lead. A really interesting series though, isn't it? We've already had one hard enduro in Lagares and then we've had a classic in France. Do you think that it's a good thing that it's spreading riders, making them become more diverse in their skills, or do you think that they should be specialising? We'll start with you, Bolts. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's an amazing step forward for the sport. I think enduro is about having the discipline of all the different aspects of the racing. But yeah, it's looking good for everybody else. Let's see how they get on.
Cyril, you, in your career, you've moved between so many different disciplines. You must think that this is a good idea.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it could be an opportunity. It could have been an opportunity for me to add a world title because I was doing separately every single races, the Trèfle Lozérien in France, Erzberg, Romagnac. I went to Roof of Africa with Alfie. I mean, it's just great. I'm one of the fan of the West, you know. Back home in Andorra, I'm following.
Laia, what about you? I mean, we've got a question here from Flo from Hamburg, and he said the tour's in its second year now. Do you think it's a success? What's your take on it?
Yeah, I think they need to do something with enduro, and it's a good step. For the riders, sometimes I think it's not so fun because, of course, some of the very fast guys struggle a bit in these kind of races, and also the other way. But I think who won this series must be really competitive in all kind of racing, and it's really interesting. And I think everybody is so competitive now, and everybody is improving a lot.
Well, Alfie, do you think it's a surprise that first and second place last year went to two of the youngest riders who obviously have a bit of all of those skills required, Billy Bolt and Manuel Lettenbichler?
Yeah, I think the youngsters will always take over, but never leave out the old guys as well. And also in this series, I think to have the Mr. All-Rounder, I mean, you take a guy like Stefan Peter Hansel, he could win the French Enduro series, he could win the World Series, he could do the 6-day. He was an all-rounder, and that's what I think this series is all about, is to find who can be the champ at the end of the year and can do well in each one of these disciplines, not just be a good extreme rider.
I like the idea of that, building legends. Right, we talked about it earlier on the 25th anniversary of the Erzberg Rodeo. Alfie, we can go back now. We've got a bit of footage we can show of you winning that first event. I've got to say, in this footage, you have incredible posture, really straight back on the bike.
Yeah, look, I must be honest, it was a great thing to come here. I mean, this mountain is absolutely mammoth.
Did you know what you were getting yourself into?
Not at all. I was just told by a friend, Gunther Meyer from Eurosport, come and do this race, and Hazel and I traveled 1,600 kilometers from the north of Germany down here, and yeah, look at that, eh?
I tell you what,
purple.
You've got some courage rocking that purple. You've got to be good to rock. Look at the moustache as well. It's still intact.
Short pants and moustache. That hasn't changed.
That was absolutely phenomenal. Now, if you're watching on Red Bull TV, we've added a new feature to the app. It's an augmented reality feature which can show you around the venues here. There's also a game involved in it. Caroline Moraes has been taking a closer look.
New to the Iron Giant this year is our field reporter, Caroline de Moraes. She's checking in with riders and gets a first grasp of Erzberg with the new Red Bull TV AR app.
I'm here at the Erzberg Rodeo in Austria, and I've driven around the mountain, so take it from me when I say it's epic. And this year we've got something very special for you. There's a new interactive way for you to get involved. You can bring the mountain into your home with the new augmented reality section on the Red Bull TV app. Not only is there 360-degree videos, but you can also compete on some of the sections of the Erzberg Rodeo Red Bull Hare Scramble with new exciting games. I had a go earlier. Some of the pro riders were competing, and here is how we fared up.
Oh, I think I know what I'm doing now. 29. Oh, 25. Oh, Lars got me. Dang it. What was it? 27.05.
27. 27 is so good. best time was 25.
Today. Yeah, he's waiting today.
If you want to have a go on the augmented reality, just update the app on either your laptop, your tablet, or your phone, and you'll get all of the features there. Now we've swapped out Alfie for the 2018 winner. It's Peter Pan himself, Graham Jarvis. Good to have you in here. Imagine all of the chat this week has been about your age, hasn't it?
Yeah, it tends to crop up quite often, but I'm all right with it. Doesn't bother me.
One thing that we've got to talk about, and Paul just brought this up. Go on, tell him. You're the statistician.
Yeah, so Graham, you remember when the last time the start was so flooded that you was actually on the second row, wasn't you?
Yeah, that's it. It did me a lot of favours the last time it was flooded. So, it helped me get the first win. So it did the job. So I'm not frightened of a bit of water.
Well, this is a much bigger debate to have. We were talking about it earlier on. Weather is always a massive feature in Erzberg, but we're saying we've had a bit of everything. There's still snow on the mountain up there. It's been raining. I think we had a dusting of snow on Wednesday, and now the sun's come out. It's getting warm. Who do you think it's going to suit? Obviously, Boltz has got you nailed down. Laia, what do you think? Weather conditions?
I pray for a sunny day tomorrow for sure, because it's been a bad week with bad weather and raining a lot. So I hope it's a sunny day and everything gets a little bit dry.
What about you, Cyril? What did you prefer?
I already went through the water before, but with a car, not with a motorcycle. And I remember exactly a few years ago when you already start the race, you know that it's 2 hours race, but after 2 seconds, you're already completely wet. And I'm sorry to tell you guys, but this is what will happen tomorrow. I came through and I was happy to have a windscreen,
Well, Paul, you've got a nice story about the last time you raced here in the rain.
Yeah, well, obviously I was on the front row because I was faster than Graham that year up the prologue. And he got to watch us guys all drown our bikes. I actually drowned mine and cracked the reed valve so it wouldn't start again. And he just watched everybody, he just pranced through and went up the first uphill and just went, "See you later, bye." And he checked out and went to win it.
Graham, we've actually had a question in here from Miles in the UK. He said, how is it possible that a 44-year-old is the best in the sport? And, I mean, this is a question that everyone's asking.
I don't know.
Is it hard work?
It does get a lot harder, yeah. I mean, you've got to work really hard at it. But, I try and conserve energy as well, use my technique and experience as much as I can and got to save that energy somewhere.
Well, it feels like that. I mean, Paul, you're knocking on the door of 40, and you said to me the other day that you're riding the best you've ever ridden, and certainly you had one of the most flawless rides you've ever had last year, Graham.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the experience does play a big part, and the fitness comes into it, and it's hard work. And the younger guys are getting so much better as well. They're just pushing the limits all the time. So I do find one day is okay, but to get up and do it again is the problems. Erzberg's should be okay.
OK, we're going to take a look now at what's happened so far, because this is a festival. It starts on Thursday night with the Mitas Rocket Ride. It's like a 4-stage hill climb, and it is a lot of fun. What do you guys make of this?
It's an awesome event. It's really good. There's a couple of jumps in it as well, but usually Aussie Risinger nails this one, local boy.
I saw a photo from this one, Cyril, and it's someone getting roasted mercilessly in the face.
But, this is what they are looking for. They are looking for to make some climb. And it was frustrating some years ago when you only have a 2-time prologue and maybe a chance to be on the 500 4-hour scramble. I realized today they are all enjoying, on the practice and climbing Erzberg, whatever their level. And that's quite nice from the organizer to let them ride from Thursday on.
Well, the next thing up was the parade on Eisenerz. This is when everyone, and I mean absolutely everyone, gets dressed up to the nines and not all in their Sunday best to take to the town. Laia, did you join in last night?
The beer tent?
No, the parade on Eisenerz.
Yeah, of course. I was there. Last year I couldn't go, so I really enjoy. Everybody talk about this parade and was really fun. Everybody gets crazy, and yeah, we were on the front, but I don't want to imagine in the back everybody having party, having fun, and yeah, it's a big show.
I know that it's never a party unless you've got a Triceratops there, but Graham, I heard Joseph Garcia may have got in a little bit of trouble for doing burnouts.
I think a few people are doing the burnouts, yeah.
It's Laia, I mean, you've come good on your word. We talked about this earlier, coming back, and Carl Katox rewarded the fact that you've come up and stumped up with a wild card for the front row alongside Sandra Gomez. It's there's a lot of pressure there. What do you want to achieve in the race tomorrow? What are you looking for?
I don't know. Tomorrow, I think I will learn a lot because it's my first time. But of course, my goal is one day to finish this race. Could be really nice, and I'll try to arrive as far as I can. Should be really nice to finish, but I know it's really difficult also for some of the top guys. They didn't finish the first time, so I'll do my best and see what I can do.
How did it go in the prologue for you?
I was not really good. I have fun last year with the rally bike. That is the bike I usually train. With the two-stroke, I've been training the last month a lot, but more extreme riding. So I struggle a bit in the prologue. But anyway, it was fun. It's a nice atmosphere, and for sure, it's good learning for the next time.
We've got a question here for you from Andrea in Italy. Would Laia also try to race the Rocket Ride, and where would she finish? If you were on, what would you take to start with, the two-stroke or the rally bike?
I don't know. Usually in Enduro I use my 350, that I love it. No, but I'm lucky that I can try different bikes. In KTM they have so many good bikes, and here maybe the best bike is a two-stroke to do this climbing and especially for the hair scramble.
I think it's pretty hard to take on Ozzy on that 500. He's got
sure.
that one sewn up. Right, Laia, Cyril are not the only motorsport legends that we've got in here. I'm not ignoring you, Bolts and Graham. You're also motorsport legends. But we've also got the MotoGP legend and the new development rider for the KTM bikes, Dani Pedrosa here. Caroline de Moraes met up with him.
We're here at the start of the Red Bull Hair Scramble, and I'm joined by MotoGP legend Dani Pedrosa. Dani, thank you for joining me, and welcome to the Iron Giant.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure.
What was your first impression when you saw the mountain?
I'm really surprised how big it is, because I've watched it so many times in TV, and when you come here, you think like how small you are. You're like, this is massive. Yeah.
It's huge. I had the same impression. But you raced the prologue. How did that go?
Well, it was, kind of everything going fast, because I arrived very early this morning. I never been here before, and suddenly I put the leathers on and jump on the bike and go. So I didn't even have time to think what I was going to do. So just kind of say I was participating a little bit on the race. So it's already an honor, and yeah, it was fun because my bike also was not the proper one.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about your bike. Why did you? It was an interesting choice.
Yeah, it was an idea to mix a bit between the road and the enduro. So we thought, okay, let's put some flat track bike on it and give it a go and see how it looks. It was a cool experience opening the race and now letting the professionals do the job.
And would you ever consider participating in the main race here?
Maybe in the future, maybe if I have some time to get fit and train a little bit, maybe I do a short part of the race.
Oh, well, it's on camera. I might keep you to that. Dani, listen, thank you so much for speaking to me and enjoy the rest of your time here.
Thank you.
So Dani Pedrosa struggling a little bit there with those street tyres on the Supermoto bike. We've swapped out Graham and now we've got Cody Webb in here. Cody, pleasure to have you in here.
Yeah, always. A little unfortunate this year, but I'm always happy to come back to the Iron Giant.
Yeah, we've first 2 years you came here, you had two blinding years in the race, and then last year and this year you've been plagued by injury, the Erzberg curse.
Yeah, everyone says it's the Erzberg curse, but actually this injury happened last week, just out riding and training, and it was, it's always so stupid when you get hurt, dropped off a ledge, and your natural instinct when you're crooked is stick your leg out, and instant agony, excruciating pain, and lost basically tore my ACL, meniscus, and a little bit more knee damage, but luckily not everything was blown apart in there, and now a recovery process begins soon.
You rode the prologue, though. With all of those injuries, you swung that leg over the bike and tried the prologue. How did that go?
It was not what I wanted it to be. Obviously, I first did it. I was like, I'm not going to Erzberg. I was all upset. And then, obviously, I wouldn't miss it for anything. So, never even tried to sit on a bike till I got here. I was just trying to ease my knee and get all the swelling out as much as possible. And sat on the bike and instantly realized it was a really bad idea. Cause it's being 6'3", I don't know how tall that is in meters, maybe 1.9.
Yeah.
And my legs are too long. I couldn't bend my knee far enough because it was too swollen. So we swapped out for a taller seat. Still wasn't tall enough. And basically, I rode one-footed up most of the prologue. And it wasn't ideal, but at the top, I still had a smile. So I guess that's all that matters.
Okay. It was hard work. You said on Thursday when I first saw you that you were thinking about going in the main event. Did the prologue convince you that you're probably not going to?
No, I'm going to go down there. It's just something about like the energy being at the bottom of the pit. I feel bad for all my fans and everyone back home. I pretty much have 0% chance of finishing, but just being in here and having the energy, it's something I want to be a part of. And I'll start the race and we'll see what happens. But I want to do anything to basically risk further injury to myself.
Okay, we've been discussing throughout. I know you've only just come in, but we've been having a gentle discussion about who's going to do well. And I think it's worth mentioning at this point that there's some really, really good young guns and rookies out there. Laia, you're one of them, but Billy Bolt especially. I don't know if you can still call Billy Bolt a rookie, can you, Paul?
No, I don't think so now. He's got plenty of experience, a lot of backup and support, and he's training like mad and focusing on this. But actually, I had Cody down before I knew he was injured. I had him down for the win this year. And I was hoping he was going to take the win and do a little dance at the top of Lazy Noon.
Cyril, I know you've watched Manuel Lettenbichler really carefully. What do you think of his riding at the moment? It feels like he's in form this year.
Well, of course, Manuel is doing well, but I discovered this mountain with my 15 years past of trail rider, and when I saw Alfredo Gomez also riding well, the technique, the control you had to have to drive around these rocks. The trial is the perfect school, and honestly, it's not because we go in the same gymnasium with Alfredo that I say that, but I saw him really in shape also.
Oh, it's been a really strong year for the Spanish so far, hasn't it, Laia?
Yeah, he's so good. I was lucky to train with him some days, and it's amazing what he can do. I try to learn a lot. But there are also many. The level is so high, and there are 4 or 5 riders that I think they can win, and will be a nice fight. For the spectator, sure, will be a really funny race.
Okay, we're going to come back to this because the predictions are going to be very, very close, I think. But we've had a question on social media. Peyton writes, and this is for you, Cody. Good morning from Idaho. Bummed about your injury. Are there any US riders to be looking out for?
Yeah, there definitely are, and Canadian as well. Ryan Sipes, Supercross, motocross rider, and he just got a whole new program now with Red Bull, the jack of all trades, and he's in for a real treat. I did some riding for him, and I think he did well in the prologue, but the rocks and Carl's dinner and everywhere, the rest of the whole race is so crazy. I think he's going to be a little eye-opener for him, so it'll be good. And Tristan Hart from Canada, he's a young up-and-comer right now back home in America, North America, so I think no one really knows who he is yet, but he can put on a big presence this year.
I think that's a question that most people have. We've talked a lot about the Brits and the Spanish, and they've got these deep roots in trials riding that translates really well to hard enduro. But we're seeing more and more South African riders and American riders coming up who are they're enduro purists, and that's cutting a new career, isn't it?
I think just the sport of hard enduro is still so new that at first, you guys like Cyril, he used to do trials and stuff, and he can kind of do everything. And all of a sudden, Taddy hopped on board, and all the trials guys had their whole swing in it. You got Graham, Alfredo, Johnny, ex-trials riders who are just, it's natural changeover, And then now with Super Enduro and Enduro Cross in America, it's kind of started a new breed where people just start from the get-go riding technical terrain on the enduro bikes, but they also have the high-intensity speed. So, with the years to come, I think the trials riders, kind of like my generation, we might start to fade out. You never know. The younger generation, they like to be aggressive and fast, so we'll see what happens.
You're getting a lot of nods from down there. Cody, thanks for coming in for us. Hopefully we'll see you on the start line tomorrow morning. I'll be keeping an eye out. Now, though, it's worth noting that 500 people line up in 10 rows of 50 on the start line of the Red Bull Hare Scramble, but 480 of those are either amateurs or privateers. There's only 20 factory riders out there, and that is one of the most unique aspects of this race. You've got the amateurs in with the pros. Let's take a closer look at them.
Yeah! I'm from Japan.
I'm from the USA.
Australia.
Greece.
Waltershof. I came from Italy. It's so cool. It's such a good atmosphere here. Everybody's so pumped. You know, it's like a festival.
Erzberg is the heart of the enduro.
And it's something you cannot see everywhere. You know, in this type of stones and the uphills and the wood sections, it's a whole different experience from everything that I have driven before.
The best thing about this competition that the amateur can go the same stuff, the same tracks as the best high-class top riders of the world.
I mean, if you turn around and look at the mountain, you'll see it's amazing how massive this area is.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, this is the Ultimate Enduro Talk. We're doing all of the gossip ahead of tomorrow's Red Bull Hare Scramble. We've got Paul Bolton, Cyril Desprez, Laia Sainz, and now we've got William Slater, one of the rookies this year, privateer from South Africa. And also, don't forget, any conversation you want to join in on any of the Red Bull TV broadcasts this weekend, you can do it using the hashtags Erzberg Rodeo and Red Bull Hare Scramble. I've got the tablet. If you've got questions, there's still time to get a couple in with any of this crew. Just send them in now. Right now, though, William, first time here at Erzberg. First impressions, what do you make of it?
Well, it actually started off with a bang, literally. We drove in, looking at all the scenery, never been here before, saw the mountain and crashed my rental. So that's how it started. So it was a fun experience. We had a good laugh about it, but yeah.
Right off, or it's still limping on?
No, but it's going to hurt the bank balance a little bit, I think.
Oh no, you didn't take out the extra cover?
No, I didn't.
Oh, rookie mistake. Now, what we've got here, we've got a very unique situation. Laia and William both taking it on for the first time, and we've got two veterans over here in Cyril and Paul. What advice do you boys have for these two?
Well, my advice would be certainly get out of the water. That's one for sure. Don't worry so much about your position on the start. It's not going to be as critical as when it's so dusty because you can't make any manoeuvres anywhere. And then it's down to the forest in the beginning, and then Carl's dinner. Once you pass that, then you know you're going to have a little bit more fun.
Then it's even worse.
I like the way you're really certain about that. It's like once you've passed that. It's 3 laps through it this year, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's so easy when you give so much effort on a big rocks like this to lose the lucidity, and then after that you are crashing, you are damaging the pipe of your bike, the handlebar, and then losing the lucidity. It's so easy when you did not drink enough, you did not hit something or gel, or and this is the end of the race when you just get the battery completely full. That's why. Don't forget to drink. I mean, Laia, she know how to handle the Dakar. That means I have nothing to teach her. But yeah, we're gonna be maybe really hot, and as soon as the battery is flat, it's the beginning of the end.
William, we know that when you're with the factory guys and you're up front, it's all quite glamorous. There's a lot of open space there. But some of the most enduring images that come out of the Erzberg Rodeo are the amateurs on the hill climbs, when it's absolute carnage out there. And you had an experience of that in the prologue, didn't you?
Yeah, so in the prologue, I got quite a high number. I was 324, so I started far back. I tried to make my way and try to sneak into to be with the top guys, but yeah, they wouldn't let me, so they're quite strict here. I did figure that out. But yeah, the first day I had some front wheel problems, but I passed 7 guys but it's a problem when the bottom half of the prologue's all chicane. So it's real narrow. So when you do catch someone, they don't let you pass. Back home, you normally give them a little hoot or give them a little shout. Obviously, quite politely, of course, but you give them a shout and they move over, but not here. So I had a bit of stories yesterday, and then today, unfortunately, same thing. I didn't pass as many people. But the ones that I hit a guy real hard. I did say sorry when I rode past. But yeah, so I did struggle in that regard. So it would have been nice if I got a number a little bit higher up. And the first day the track was real rough, like the guys all would have experienced today.
What row are you on?
Well, from the results last night, I would be 4th row. I was hoping for 1st row. So today I laid it all on the line. Did have a few back markers, unfortunately, but yeah, all that I can do is make the best of it and try get the whole shot. And yeah, I think I'm going to put a GoPro on and try to sell that for money, because some crazy stuff's going to happen tomorrow.
You're going to be right in the mix on those hill climbs. One of the things that's changed, I think, over the years is maybe the way everyone gets involved in the beer tent. It seems like the factory riders are pretty professional now. But, I mean, in the early days, Paul, Cyril, was
definitely. I mean, the race starts already Friday night, and then with Alfie we had a couple of beer before the race, of course, and then this was part of Erzberg, you know. Even if I came as an amateur the first year, drive my truck myself without mechanic from Paris to Eisenach, I was in a beer tent, and I will be there again tonight, of course.
Was it almost seen as cheating, Paul, if you didn't go in the beer tent?
Yeah, of course it was, yeah. You know, it was part of coming to this event, and it was I've seen some amazing scenes in there. I've had some really good fun times in there, but sort of after 2008, everybody sort of got serious, and it was a change of everybody's attitude towards the race, and yeah.
That's why I stopped racing. That's basically why. No
I like the idea that what goes on in the paddock stays in the paddock. It's kind of, there's that code of secrecy. We see a few of what's going down there. Now, we've been talking about it the whole way through. I think it's time to put people's reputations on the line. Let's talk predictions. We'll start up that end with Paul. I'm not going to put you on the spot for one. You can talk us through 2 or 3 who you've got your eye on first.
Oh, thanks very much, Ed. Yeah, I'm going to go with, not in any particular order, but Manny, Wade, Grimbo.
Okay. Manuel Lettenbichler, Wade Young, Graham Jarvis. Okay, Laia, what do you think?
Like him, I say the top 3, but not in order.
Yeah, I'll give you that. And then there's no pressure.
Alfredo.
Okay.
Letty.
Yep.
And Johnny.
Sorry?
Johnny.
Ah, interesting one. We haven't had much chat about Johnny yet. Cyril?
You know, I'm just 1 year older than Graham, and I have to say, I saw him. The veterans are doing well, you know, I can tell you. And yeah, Graham, Alfredo also. For the third one, yeah, in between Johnny coming back after injuries. But take care about the old man.
Okay, yeah, Cyril's rooting for Grimbo at 44. What do you think, William?
Being South African, not being biased at all. But Wade.
Travis and you.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, me, Wade, Travis. But I'd rather say, so Wade, Grimbo, and Travis.
Okay, yeah, you're going full South African. Yeah. I think I'm definitely going to go in with Graham. I think Manny Lettenbichler's in there, and I think it could be Billy Bolt. I'm going to pin my colours to Billy's mast. We've talked riders now. It's time to talk the course and weather, because there are so many different aspects to this course, aren't there? We've got a waterlogged start line, and then if this weather keeps up, if it's dry, we could have some really dry, dusty climbs. But I think it's the forest that really catches people out, Cyril.
Yeah, it was quite nice to have some little showers or some rain, you know, some days before. Today was quite dry the whole day, and then tomorrow again. You know, for the first one, it's quite nice when there's only a good traction. You know, the mud is not completely wet. It's just helping I'm talking for the first one, you know, the first guy who came to this climb with this kind of ground. I pretty like it. Afterward, after maybe for Laia, you know, after you have to be on the 10, you know, quite early on the race, because this kind of ground gets slippery really quick.
Interestingly, though, this one's for you, Paul. Like, this is called the Hare Scramble. We have actually got a tortoise in this race, in Graham Jarvis. Like, he never starts quickly. He was 17th last year through some of the tougher sections where it's chopped up in the forest, and yet he makes it work. He was defying all of those predictions, Paul. How does he do it?
Well, he wasn't so much of a tortoise in his first run up the prologue. I think he was in the top 20, so yeah. He's still hauling. And
a lot of people are really surprised by that, aren't they? That a trials rider has learned to get that fast.
Yeah, but like Cody said earlier, everybody's developing, and it's a specialist situation for everybody that we're in now. We need to be fast. We need to be good in the technical sections. You need to know how to look after your body, save energy, look after the bike. But yeah, the slippery conditions here are going to cause some big problems for a lot of people. The tree roots, I think, are going to be the biggest problem if you don't make it over them, because there's literally no traction on those things. They're just like glass.
Right. Cyril, question for you here. Hans from Austria says, when are we going to see you race the Red Bull Hare Scramble again?
Oh, wow.
You're only a year older than Graham.
I just wait then Graham stop racing, and then I come back, you know. I make my comeback when he will be...
A full attack.
Yeah, definitely. But I promise tonight we're going to have a race with Laia and Alfie with the electric bike, and I'm looking forward.
Oh, a bit of enduro cross in the little finish area down here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I'm still, you know, when you are passionate by a motorcycle, it's for you all life. Whatever, if now I'm racing a car, I'm still passionate by two wheels.
One of the interesting ones, William, I mean, you look at someone like Graham Jarvis, and I know there's a lot of riders who thought Graham was going to retire a lot sooner than this and they'd have their shot. But if everyone carries on like that, you're not going to get a chance until you're in your 30s.
Yeah, so back home, everyone's like, I've always had Graham's back. I'm always I believe in Grimbo, but guys are like, nah, he's too old now. And then, yeah, he comes and pulls one out the bag. And also, it's quite nice because guys that are a little bit older, they say, hey, the body's a bit sore, they're getting on. And then you just say, Graham's old. So if he can do it, you can also. So
well, it's interesting. We're actually seeing age being redefined in a lot of different action, adventure and motorsports. You've got people like Kelly Slater still competitive at 44 in surfing, and Graham. I mean, Graham is quite literally rewriting the rulebook in hard enduro at the moment. On Red Bull TV tomorrow, Red Bull Hare Scramble kicks off. Alfie Cox and I will be down on the start line from 2 o'clock. We've got a half-hour pre-show, and we've got the amateur feed running on there. Now, this is one of the most popular parts. It runs simultaneously. If you're watching on Red Bull TV, you can tune into the amateur feed, and it's watching from 2:30 p.m. As soon as the race starts, we'll have each of the hill climbs, and these guys are going toe-to-toe with not only the pros, but also the Iron Giant, and the courage and determination these guys show. It's so entertaining. There is so much camaraderie going on. The winces that are going on. Laia's just turned away from the screen. There's some... well, as I said earlier, it brutalises man and bike, and the amateur feed is very, very entertaining. Well worth checking out while you're watching the main feed. Now we're going to bring this to an end, but don't forget this weekend is a two-wheeled treat. If you're into downhill mountain biking, Fort William is running. Rob Warner and Claudio Caluri will be running everything from Scotland. We've got the race here from 2 p.m. live tomorrow. Alfie Cox and I will be running it down in the start area. We'll have our Wellington boots. I've seen pictures of people up to their knees in water. But before we go, we've got a quick message from Rob Warner, who is in Scotland.
From one giant to another, I'm in Fort William, Scotland for the biggest downhill race of the year. And as you can see, it is unseasonably pleasant up here at the moment. Loic Bruni will be hoping to carry that form over from his win at round one to take his first win here in the Scottish Highlands. And in the women's, of course, Rachel Atherton will be trying to give the British crowd something to cheer about. You don't want to miss it. It's live on Red Bull TV tomorrow. And whatever you do, don't get sunburnt in Austria.
Well, almost in solidarity with Rob getting rained on there, the tent just collapsed on top of the crew here.
Okay.
They've all got covered in water. What better way to finish here in Erzberg?
I'm dry. I'm Austria, I'm dry.
Oh, look at Bolt. Jammy as ever. He's escaped dry as a bone. Thank you, all of you. That was an absolute pleasure. Look how wet you are. That was
It's a
terrible.
benediction, you know. Erzberg God is benedict.
Everything's against me this year.
It is Ascension, isn't it? It's the Ascension holiday right now. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be live with all of the action from the Red Bull Hare Scramble tomorrow. Don't forget, hashtag Erzberg Rodeo, hashtag Red Bull Hare Scramble if you want to get in touch with us, if you've got any questions. We'll see you tomorrow.